is a beautiful mess. A beautiful mess, yeah. Life is a beautiful mess. A beautiful mess, yes. Life is a beautiful mess. A beautiful mess. I'm trying, I'm crying, I feel like I'm dying. I'm doing my best, yeah.
All right, welcome back to Being Human and Other Shit. My name is Melissa, and this is Staci Basie. And today is our holiday special. So HolliGay special. And we are on the ancestral homeland of the Nisenan people. We acknowledge them as the past, present, and future caretakers of this land. And Staci, it's just the two of us today. So what are we doing?
So we have a series of scenarios, questions, etc., that we are going to discuss and give our advice.
Because everybody needs our advice.
Period. We have the microphone, so it is what it is. So yeah, we're gonna just jump right into it like always.
Okay. So we'll just go back and forth then.
Yep.
Okay.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So
wait. Cheers.
Oh yeah, cheers. HolliGays.
HolliGays.
HolliGays being HolliGay. Okay, so the first one, we're gonna give our opinions. Okay, so the first one is my partner never posts me on social media.
So should that be mad?
Like,
should
are
we be
you
mad?
pissed?
Okay.
Yeah, like how would you feel about it?
I don't think I would care unless they post all the time, maybe. And and I don't know. I feel
really like indifferent about it.
I know. I don't think I would ever get mad about it.
Yeah, I would kind of be like, I would feel the same way. Like if you are posting all the time, like if you have 60 pictures of your like fucking assorted different French fry flavors, but like I never get a shout out, I'd feel some type of way.
Yeah, because you're one of those French fries.
Yeah, because like you really love those French fries, but like you can't just shout me out.
Yeah.
But I feel like to really care about that type of shit is like when stuff people care about in their 20s.
Yeah. And it's like superficial type of shit that doesn't really matter. It's just social media and people highlight whatever they feel is most important to them.
I feel like Casey's like, noted. She's here listening. Like, noted. And anybody I date in the future is like, cool, I don't have to post you then.
I don't have to do anything.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah, I don't think, I definitely wouldn't be mad about it, but I think it just depends on how often they post.
Well, and also bigger question, like, do you already have insecurities or trust issues with your partner?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you're not being like proclaimed to the world that like that's your partner? You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've been in that situation with my last relationship, and it was like, okay, I mean, there was shady shit going on, so.
there you go. You have it. But yeah, like Casey has like 3 pictures on her entire Instagram.
Yeah, dude, Casey, I thought
She's
I was a serial killer. I think
you're
you're worse than me.
She's a stalker, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, next one.
Okay. My partner moved into my home and refuses to pay for any of the upkeep of the home. So like lawn, pool. How would you feel?
You got me fucked up. That's how I would feel. Like, you're not going to move in my house. Listen, like, it's harder when you move into somebody's house who owns a house, right? But at the same time, if it's with somebody you see a future with and you're building towards like potentially buying a property with them, that's one thing. It's also like that is a part of the upkeep of a house. If you are at the point where you're like, I'm going to end up buying a property with this person, why wouldn't you want to maintain the home you have now? Yeah.
And I feel like you're deciding to like be in this partnership, and as that partnership, I think that at least contributing. Now, I think that I contribute half.
Yeah.
But I think there are scenarios where maybe one person makes more than the other person, but contributing something, and it doesn't have to be like a 50-50 split in my opinion, but I think doing something.
Yeah. It's like, it's hard to be in a relationship with somebody that you even have to like hound for that type of shit to me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't
sending Venmo requests and shit.
Dude, that's totally my passive aggressive move sometimes. I'm just like, yo, you owe me this much money. Come on. Like, some shit I let go, but some with my family, I'm like, nah, you owe me $100. But no, I think that if you're even in a relationship with somebody that you have to like hound down, you know, like it's like, this seems imbalanced.
Yeah.
You know? So, who knows? Okay. I live in New York and my family lives in California. I've been dating somebody since July and he's coming home with me for the holidays. My family refuses to allow him into our gift exchange because he is not blood related.
Your family sucks.
Your family
fat balls.
sucks.
That's just like petty and like disrespectful on so many levels. This is obviously a person that you care about, so your family sucks.
Like, I can't be in your fucking little $30 gift exchange, but I could spend $600 on a flight to California. What?
I didn't even think about the
flight.
flight.
Like, what? Like, I could contribute to the potluck, but I can't be in your bootsy ass little gift exchange. Like, I mean, I guess I'd just be like, I've actually experienced that, and it was hurtful as fuck.
You've experienced that?
With my first relationship, it was a bad situation. My first relationship, his ex-girlfriend was like, the aunt and his aunt were like best friends, so I never had a chance. It sucked even more because I was good friends with his sister. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you already know me from that. I've been a good friend to her. Now we're dating, but it was very clear, like, lines were drawn, and I never was gonna have a chance. They probably had a fucking celebratory parade when we broke up, I'm sure. Like, we hate this bitch.
I'm so glad we never put her in that gift exchange.
We dodged that gift exchange for 5 years. Like, okay, cool. Fuck you.
So they, like, just wouldn't let any non-blood relatives?
Oh, no, just me.
Oh.
Yeah. We also, like, weren't allowed to drink at the... Yeah. He had this one uncle who would show up with, like, a 6-pack and just, like, put it on the table, and all the women would be pissed. I remember being like, dude, you're a dick, but I'm here for it. Like, every time I'd see that 6-pack, it would just, like, give me joy. Like. Dude, literally, and my ex, like, it would just give me joy. Like, you're a fucking badass.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I think it's fucked up and shows your family's not supportive of you being happy, you know?
And it's just a gift exchange, guys.
Yeah, not that serious.
All right. I slept with a longtime friend in my group 2 years ago once. Don't do that, man. No, I started dating someone and they hit it off and have been golfing together. Should I tell my partner about the one time? Bunka, bunka, bunka. Shabanga bang. What do you think?
I think no.
I think yes.
I think no, because I don't feel fuck, I don't know. One, I don't fuck my friends. Like, everybody knows that. Like, I think it's such a bad idea. I never want to say never because I feel like that's how you get in trouble. But
then you'll be like, she fucked her.
I know. I'm never telling
Just
anybody.
Just putting
probably.
this on repeat.
Yeah, for real. But I feel like one time, and if it was like so many years before, it's like, why change the whole dynamic? Because they probably just don't want to fuck with that person anymore. Like, I mean, what you did before me is like on you. If I don't, you're gonna notice if there's some like weird energy between them.
I feel like if it came out in some way, your partner would feel a certain kind of way by not knowing.
Yeah.
And thinking like, why are you keeping that a secret? So I'd rather just have an open, honest conversation. Like, that meant nothing. Like, I just want to put it out there and like.
But you know that would change the dynamic of your friendship with that person, because I know you and you know me, and at the end of the day, like, my partner comes before everybody, even my family. So for me, it's like, if my partner was uncomfortable with me hanging out with somebody that I hooked up with before, like, I probably would have to make the choice to not kick it with them, and that sucks.
But I also think that
it's like, don't you guys
me or you wouldn't choose a partner that wasn't mature enough for that, because they also have a past.
Dude, you're living that too, I feel like.
In this household right this second.
Literally in this household is her girlfriend and her ex-girlfriend, so she's living that. She's living that.
Look at these two mature motherfuckers.
I know, right? No, yeah, it's true. I guess it kind of does. Well, and also you primarily date women. I think I think man to woman relationship would be a little harder because men have a little more of an ego, and I think they wouldn't be able to handle knowing like another man has been inside of their partner, you know? It'd be like weird. But I don't know. I feel like I don't want to speak for everybody, but at least in my experience.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like how I would feel being that person that knew or didn't know. And yeah. I think I'd rather know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would be mature enough to be like, okay, I mean, my ego would definitely be like, oh, yeah. I'm bruised a little bit.
Yeah. You might like compare yourself. There's an episode of The Office where like the Nard Dog's girlfriend finds out he was engaged to Angela, who's an accountant. And it's like one of my favorites because she just is the nicest person, Erin, and she goes the fuck off. And I'm like, dude, this is so legit. But she was mad. She's like, why didn't you tell me? And somebody like slipped. And I guess that's a good perspective because you might always be nervous somebody slipped.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to carry that.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I understand also not telling because it's not a big deal, but I would really want to like look at it from my partner's perspective, or if that was me, I would want to know.
Yeah, I think I probably wouldn't want to know. Just like if I don't see weird energy, I don't give a shit what you did before me.
Yeah,
like, that's your business. Just leave it alone. Because, you know, it's like, it's a little different when you're in the, I mean, you know what? I also worked in the restaurant industry for 16 years.
Everybody sleeps with everybody.
I used to have to work with like 4 girls and my ex at least like touch their booty holes. And I was like, whatever, bitch, I'm with them. So what do I care? Hopefully it was fun, you know, like, so I just
You're right. He does have that little dip on his.
Did you teach him that thing, girl? Like, thanks. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just like kind of unbothered by that type of stuff, but yeah, like I said, never say never.
Never say never.
Okay. My sister's I already know, we read this one. My sister's best friend was caught sending messages to my partner, not sexual, but kind of flirty. My sister doesn't see what the big deal is and doesn't think I should be upset. I said it before, I'll say it again. You got me all the way fucked up.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Especially if it's flirty. Like, if they were just messaging, my partner, I wouldn't care. I would just be like, oh, they're sparking a friendship. But
yeah,
if it got flirty, I would definitely have a problem.
Hell, like, that is, first of all, there's so many dynamics to that being like inappropriate. You are my sister's friend, like somebody she's invested in. And why are you even contacting my man without me being around, or my woman without being around? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's no point in that. And then I would really be questioning why my sister's like unbothered by it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's probably sitting in the middle of it. Like, I know that this is nothing, but you know, knowing her friend and then knowing my partner, but that would definitely not be cool.
Hell no. I'm glad we agree on that, except bonkers. Okay.
My friend group wants me to suggest to another friend in the group that they need to take it easy on plastic surgery. Help!
Don't touch it.
Yeah, I think everybody does what they need to do for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should shame people for that. They're obviously on their own journey with it.
I feel like that's such a hard position to be in, because I always tell my family, like, dude, if I'm getting like super obese, like, and I'm not aware of it, like, please tell me, like, those pants are a little snug, or, you know, I feel like everybody in our friend group is always like, hey, Jeannie's so good about, like, you got some of your teeth, hey, like, you know, so it's not like on the same level, because that's a lot more petty. But I feel like sometimes, as somebody who, you know, like, openly, I say I get Botox, like, I don't do fillers, but I get Botox. If I was to have like a botched BBL and somebody's like, oh, your ass looks great, and it looks like a fucking SpongeBob SquarePants, I'd be like, you're not my real friend. Like, tell me. But it's also like, can you imagine working up the nerve to tell somebody that?
I mean, at the same time, though, isn't like saying nothing, saying everything? Like, you're surrounded by friends that would just probably say nothing.
I don't know about that. You guys are pretty ruthless.
Well, meaning if we needed to tell, yeah, you're right.
So we're on camera, bitch. Tell me right now.
We'd be like, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I think for some people maybe, but I think of everybody in our group, I get roasted the most, which I'm here for.
Well, you do a lot of roasting too.
Oh, I do my equal amount. Trust me, I am not taking the blame, but I'm like, or not taking it off me. And I think that's why I get roasted so hard, is because I'm roasting.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't.
Somebody would definitely be like, damn, if you came in with some like fucked up.
100. Joey literally sometimes has been like, you're gonna wear that, or like, what's? I'm like, who are you, my grandma Swingle? She used to say that shit to me all the time. Like, you're gonna leave like that? And I'd be like, I just planned this whole outfit. I have to go change now? Like, what the hell?
I thought it looked good.
So yeah.
I think that unless you have that open of a relationship with one another where they're asking, I think if your friend asks you, then say something.
Like, take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a colleague, I was like telling her about a situation once, and she was like, the way I think is, if I can't have an open relationship with somebody I call a friend, then it's not a real friendship. And I was like, that's the simplest way to say it. And like, that's amazing. You know, she's like, because your friend should always just assume you're like talking about something that's in their and your best interest, and like basically will move the relationship along. And I'm like, damn, you're hella wise.
You wise little owl.
You're so wise.
But I also think plastic surgery, like, that's just our opinion on what that person may want to look like.
Look at some celebrities, like, they know that they've kind of overdone it, but they're like, I like how I look.
But I can understand, like, you know, your friend is so beautiful, and maybe they're trying to enhance that, and so I know that we could be protective of our friends and the people we love, and so maybe it's a little bit of that of like, you're like so pretty, now you're doing all of this, but it's like, at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. It's
crazy though, because I think being somebody who does do it, the place I go to is super reputable. Shout out Destination Aesthetics. But I know people like I've heard of people going to other places because it's like a little bit more reasonably priced. And sometimes I feel like first of all, for me, anything I'm injecting into my body, I'm not looking for it to cut corners.
Yeah.
I think that's like a huge no-no. Also, I think that if they're cutting corners to get people in, those aren't going to be the reputable places that are going to tell you, like, listen, if you come in requesting something, I think reputable places will be like, yeah, maybe let's not like go that hard. Maybe let's go, if that's what you want, let's like end game it, you know?
Yeah.
But because there are places out there that are just looking to make money. They don't give a shit what you look like when you leave their office.
Yes, they'll blow up any part of you.
Yeah, like if you want your earlobes to sag to the ground, they're gonna make it happen. If that's what you want. So yeah, I say if you're comfortable with your friend, tell them. Definitely, I think real homies don't let you look like a clown.
Yeah.
So yeah, tricky though. A clingy friend keeps pressuring me to go on a trip with them, and I don't want to go, but I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Am I that clingy friend?
No, dude, I'm down for all the trips. I think I might be that clingy friend. I'm down for all the trips. But like I've, mentioned, I am picky about who I'll travel with. A lot of that's, though, because I am an experienced traveler and I don't want to be in a situation where, like, I have to be a dick and be like, I don't want to do this. I used to travel with a girl that was a former friend in my, like, 20s. Where she had, like, if we didn't have an itinerary, she was, like, super uncomfortable, which was her own, now that I'm older, was, like, obviously that's her own anxieties. But also, she would get really weird if it was, like, I don't want to do that. I actually want to do this. Mm-hmm. Why don't you do this and I'll do this? And it would be like, what? Like, we're separating? And it'd be like,
yeah, we do that.
Yeah, girl, like, it's okay. So, like, I would just politely decline. Yeah.
I think that if it's your friend, you should be able to have an honest conversation about the reasons why you don't want to go. And and just saying no is an okay response as well. Sometimes we just don't want to do things, and that's okay.
Yep.
I think that we have just been conditioned to like have to like have an excuse for everything. It's like, no, my excuse is I don't feel like going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, fuck, if you have to, just be like, I can't afford it. That's my advice.
If you can't,
that's an easy way out. If you don't want to be, if you feel uncomfortable, like if you're not at the place where you can say, no, I just don't want to go. I can't afford it. There you go.
There you go.
Next.
All right. I caught the head chef of the restaurant I work at fucking the hostess. What should I do?
Been there. Not necessarily the head chef, but probably multiple people. What would you do? I want to hear your response.
I would be like,
just run, slam the walk-in door, just run.
So first of all, I would have a lot of questions here. Like, I never worked in the restaurant business. Is this just like a no-no? Fraternizing or?
Oh no!
Like
no.
Is it because they were having sex at work?
At work.
Okay, that's gross.
Have you ever seen the movie Waiting?
No.
Okay, so if you haven't, whoever's listening, seen the movie Waiting, it is, and the show The Bear, that show The Bear that's on Hulu about that Chicago eatery, the dude that takes over when his brother passes away, kitchen wise is so spot on. Waiting, actually Waiting in general, so spot on. Like I said, I've done everything in the industry: dishwasher, busser, server. I was a restaurant manager at a restaurant and a casino. Like, I've done it all. And one I worked at specifically, I mean, people didn't leave because you made so much money that, like, there are people that were like legacies there. I feel like there was a bartender whose daughter, after she quit, like her daughter started working there, like, I swear. And you did. I mean, I think when I worked Sunday brunch, I never left with less than $350 after tipping out. Like, it was just good money, but everybody slept with everybody.
That's gross.
Like, people had been in relationships for like 2 years and then they broke up, and then later on they were dating their friend. And if you ask anybody in the industry, I'm sure to this day, it's probably harder nowadays because people are more cognizant of like sexual harassment in the workplace and like those types of uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
But 100%, like, I think I've been lucky enough that most restaurants I've worked in, I've always been in a relationship with either like my first person and my second person. So I was always like out of it, just like the person on the sidelines, like, okay, this is drama, but I'm here for it. But it's a part of being in the industry. Think of it this way. Think of like being at work and you're single, you're in your 20s, early 20s most of the time, and like a shiny new toy starts at work. It's like, oh shit, look at the new girl, or look at the new guy. Like, it's, yeah.
I'm just thinking about my own jobs that I've had, and I would be so disgusted if anybody was caught having sex with anybody.
Have you worked? Yeah, but there's probably not a lot of hotties that work in dental offices. Restaurants, I mean, I hate to say it, but at a restaurant, like, how you look, it matters.
I guess so.
They're not hiring pigs off the street. You know what I mean? Like, you got to at least run a brush through your hair and put a little rouge on. You can't just, like, come in looking to it. And not only back in, like, when I was doing it in the, 2000s, like, it's not even because they require it, because there already was laws where it's like you can't hire people based on what they look like, but for your own money, like, you got to look somewhat decent, because unfortunately, like, people don't want to be served by ugly people, so it's a bunch of like super attractive people. Yeah, there really are people out there that like they want. Think of like, okay, you've had to travel for work. There are people who travel for work so much that like they don't want to stay at a hotel that doesn't have either like a restaurant or a bar, specifically a bar.
Yeah.
So they go sit down in the hotel bar every night after their long day. They have like 2 nights in this place. They want to converse with somebody who's like a local, who's going to tell them like, also somebody who's attractive. They don't want to sit and stare at like somebody who they don't find attractive. That's why them bitches make money.
Okay. You know better than me. You were in the industry. I think I would definitely confront one or both of them when they finish doing their gross stuff and been like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that
like, dude, we cut produce there.
I know. Like, what the hell? This is like a restaurant. But I wouldn't like tell on them or anything.
Yeah, that'd be a hater status. What if they were married though?
That's on them. Like,
God, that would suck. Like, see, that for me would complicate.
If they were married to one of my friends, then fuck yeah.
Oh,
my friend would know
that night
that while they were still having sex, and then I would confront the person.
Yeah, you'd go in there and like put your hand between their wieners.
Get the fuck out of there!
Get on my friend's man. Okay,
I like tackle him.
Like, damn. I make a lot of money at my current job, but I am miserable. I can't imagine downgrading my pay in this economy, but envision myself walking out half-baked style every single day. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
I think that's like so many people right now.
Oh, yeah.
In the state of the state right now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody should leave their job like that.
No, I agree.
You have to still like keep partnerships and
you can't burn bridges.
Yeah, you can't burn bridges, and then like there's gonna be a time where that will bite you in the ass. So
100%.
like I would just, regardless of unhappy you are, like leave, but leave respectfully.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can't be there anymore.
I actually I don't remember who I was talking to the other day, but I just told this story about like not burning bridges. My grandma always like pushed this into my brain, like do not burn bridges, do not burn bridges.
Doesn't matter where you're working.
Because I've worked in the medical field, obviously restaurant industry. Now I'm in education, like all over. And one of the last restaurants I worked at, actually, was it you I was telling the story? I don't know. One of the last restaurants I worked at, when I walked in, I had 2 interviews. He made me do 2 interviews, which was just fucking ridiculous. But the first one, there was my ex's best friend, his baby mom. They weren't married. She was sitting there. So he asked about, oh, you know her? Like, blah, blah, blah. The second interview, what got me the job was there was this girl who worked at the former restaurant I was at.
There you go.
She lied on her resume. She was not good at what she did. So I'm not going to up-talk her because she sucked. But she told him when he asked about me, she said she was the only person in that restaurant that was kind to me, which I was like, me? Like,
are you sure? I love how you think you're not.
Are you getting me confused with somebody else? But I think like he said, like, honestly, if she wouldn't have said that, because this was like an old school Italian man, and I come in with like my big personality, like fuck the patriarchy, and they're like Catholic, so I think he was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and she was like, no, blah blah blah, and it like got me the job. So I always think about that. In any industry, like put your notice in, work, even if they tell you that day you're done, leave with a smile.
Yeah.
But I want to say, like, if you hate your job, quit. But 41-year-old me knows that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there's
like
going to be...
everybody has bills.
Yeah. I think that, like, if you can, though, I don't think taking a pay cut is always the wrong thing to do. It just depends on what your financial situation is. But yeah. I don't think that by making less money, that should be whether or not, if you're miserable at your current job, I would say, it's okay to take a little bit of a pay cut if you can afford to take a pay cut.
Totally.
And then just build back up.
Also, disclaimer, like, you and I are sitting here with no kids.
Yeah.
Like, you're white, I'm half white, like, definitely get, we recognize people don't get jobs based on their skin or their sexual orientation. And no matter what people want to say, that definitely is a factor. I don't give a shit. So in saying that, like, definitely take the opportunities that are like come for you. But we've said it, and you've talked about Alleged a million times with like my own professional stuff, that like things do always have a way of working out. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to stay in situations for a little bit longer than you want for the next situation to work out. Right? Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that too, because I think recognizing our own privilege, that like you and I could absolutely, if either one of us wanted to leave our jobs, could get a job this afternoon. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, we can walk out of here and get another job. So just, if you need to leave, but leave respectfully.
Yep. Perfect.
Wait, it's your turn, huh?
No, I think was it? No, I did the half-baked style. You're cool. Fuck you, I'm out. Number 10. A
coworker constantly compares herself to me behind my back to mutual friends and makes microaggressions to me daily. How do I handle her insecurities and projections?
That's hard. That's hard because I think, like Jeannie and I were talking about this on the way here. You and I like have this public forum where we talk about like being advocates for like being patient with people and mental health, and you know, but at the same time, I think when it impacts you like personally, like within your family or work, which we spend more time with people from work than our own families, it's hard to stay patient with people. When you become like, you know, wrong choice of words, but like the butt of the joke, I guess, when it's like that person who is projecting their insecurities onto you because of either their lack of performance or they're not fulfilled in their personal life or whatever you're doing, that instead of saying this person at work is doing all this and like that's awesome and like honoring that, but and like, oh, where can I step up, or looking within, instead they like, you know, release those microaggressions on you. It's really hard to just sit and be like, how much more of the shit am I going to keep taking? Yeah. Because I've had that happen, and it's like, I'm just me, and I hate that the parts of me that I love trigger you.
Yeah. It's tough too, because even if you were to sit and have a conversation with that person, they still have their own perspective, and in many cases it won't change, but I guess it's worth the effort to put into it, so your life every single day at your job is not miserable. Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like, we could even get into sometimes as women dealing with the misogynistic bullshit we have to deal with like men mansplaining shit to us, always thinking they're right, never valuing our opinion. Like, I've had men at work in different jobs talk to me where I'm like, bitch, I have like 4 degrees. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And please, like, don't mansplain it to me. Like, if I'm curious about something, it's genuinely because I'm seeking your guidance, not because I need you to like punk me out of it. Yeah. You know? Just because you talk louder doesn't mean that the shit that's coming out. Bitch, we can do the loud game. I'll talk loud over everybody every day. Like, doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't mean that your shit's more relevant or important. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. One, I think just like be patient with people, like where they're at, but also in no way, shape, or form, I'm never going to suggest anybody like take people's shit. Yeah. Because it's not your responsibility, no matter where people are with their mental health, to be the victim of whatever they're working through. You can be patient with their healing process. That does not mean you need to be a victim of their bullshit. Preach. Okay. Period. That's good. That's good. That's me, right? Yep. Oh, God, this is a really good one. Glad you're saying this one. My partner won't eat my ass, even though I've expressed how much I enjoy it. No means no, man. If she doesn't want to eat my ass, that's okay. She doesn't have to eat my ass. You brought out the no means no. This is not the 90s. I mean, I think first of all, have like a thorough conversation. Like, booties are just off limits for me, from my mouth and everything. So for me, it's like, I get it. And there's no amount of like thorough persuasion talk we're going to have. Yeah. You know, I will be the first one to buy you like the top of the line fake tongue booty liquor. Same. But my tongue ain't going to lick your booty. Yeah. So like, I don't even know how to help this person, because I'm like, I get it. In perspective, it's like if there's something I enjoy sexually and my partner is not with it, or whoever my partner is at the time, like does not want to do it, it would be highly disappointing. And like, maybe that person's just not your match. I don't know. Yeah. Right? Like, imagine being with another woman and like she doesn't want to go down on you ever. Like, it wouldn't work. If you enjoy getting gone down on. Some people really want their groceries ate. Some people like really enjoy getting their ass ate. I guess, I mean, that has to be like a real conversation between those two people for sure. But I think that could lead to the person that wants their ass eaten getting maybe insecure because their partner doesn't find their asshole
I feel like this is
desirable and delectable.
Delectable. I feel like this is a hilarious question because it's not like they said like my person doesn't enjoy giving hand jobs. They're like this person doesn't enjoy eating my ass. Like
that's just a mainstream everybody eats ass.
Like I've read a lot of Kama Sutra books and I never have seen that in one. Like
it's even more funny because both of us are booty off limit.
Nope, don't even touch me. All right, next one.
I am dating someone of a different culture and am constantly pushed beyond my limits with the comments of my shortcomings from his mother. What should I do? I feel like you've experienced this.
Oh, 100%. This shit is hard. I feel like I've been pretty like open about friends. The way like, oh God, how could I say this without sounding like an impressed dumbass Hispanic woman? I don't think you should ever allow somebody to like treat you some type of way. I would never condone that. But I think some families, I've had to explain this to a friend, like especially when you're dating outside of your culture, some families look at you as the enemy. If you have white skin and you're coming into a different culture, you have to remember you're coming to an oppressed culture where you were the enemy. So they're not going to welcome you with open arms.
Yeah.
Some people just think it's like, oh, well, I'm a nice person, so they should just, you know, be so happy that their son or daughter is happy with me. It's like, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And if you're not understanding culturally, like it's some families prefer to stay within that same culture. There are a lot of people that have old school mindsets. It doesn't mean you have to break up. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. It doesn't mean you have to take disrespect. What it means is you could have boundaries and you could stick to them, but also it could be like a slow workup.
Yeah. And I think ensuring that you are respecting that culture too, that you're not just bringing, you know, for me, that I'm not going into my current girlfriend who's Vietnamese, like into her household and not respecting that culture and just showing up as my whole white self. Like,
yeah,
this is what I do at my family. And this is what you know what I mean? Like you have to understand what their boundaries are and what their expectations are as well.
I think that dating outside of your culture is the same as traveling outside of your country.
Yeah.
I don't go to France and expect them to speak English.
Yep.
I don't get upset when I'm inconvenienced by not understanding what somebody's saying to me on the street. If anything, I do my best to learn the culture before I go, have some base words like how are you or hi or how do I, you know, what's this cost, goodbye, blah, 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 blah. Because it's like, I just think it's a very American thing to do to like not respect cultures in our own country.
Yeah. Because
we are such a melting pot, right? Like the thing I loved about my last teaching job, it was so diverse, which Sacramento is, and that's why I love living here. But they would like literally train us. Like Millie and I were just talking about this. They would literally train us on like with certain like Middle Eastern or Indian families, when you go into their house, if they offer you something, you don't say no.
Yeah.
A lot of, you know, Asian cultures, you take your shoes off at the door. You don't walk into their house with shoes that you wore on the street. And the people that refuse to do that type of stuff, I'm like, well, then don't waste your time going there. Like, because that's not okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same but different, but like the same as like what we've experienced throughout COVID as well, where there's certain businesses that require you to wear a mask that maybe the state of California you don't have to, or certain places you don't have to, but respect that person's like rules. You know what I mean? But I think it's tough too, because there also can be the flip side of that where people are just being like rude because you are. So if you, in your
100%.
scenario, like you weren't meeting the expectations of like, hey, you need to treat my son like royalty and massage his feet after your 12-hour long day. And so I think that there's also a little bit of that needs to be recognized too, that you can't also just be an ass. Like, yes, the other person needs to come in understanding and respecting the culture.
Yep.
And trying to see where that person might be coming from, and not letting our egos get the best of us and our own insecurities get the best of us, because we may not understand the culture completely. But then you also don't have to like put up with people just being like outright rude to you.
Well, I think like with my mom, you know, my mom is white and she married my dad, who is, you know, from his dad, first gen, you know, first language Spanish. And my dad was very dark. Like, he was a very dark Mexican man. So my mom and my dad together, it was like total opposite, even though my mom's like pretty tan. But they got a lot of shit growing up in a small town, you know, and my mom got a lot of pushback from, you know, certain members of my family, I think, growing up. And you know, my dad's the first son. And I think that I see, like, I've had people like make jokes or comments about like my mom, like, oh, your mom like basically is Mexican or wants to be Mexican. It's like, no, what my mom did was my mom did what we should be doing now, where instead of rejecting this culture, my mom just took this shit and then tried to adopt culture that made my dad feel more comfortable in their home.
Yeah.
She cooked Mexican food because that is what my dad grew up eating. I grew up eating Mexican food so that my mom, even though I wasn't like a regular part of my, you know, I only saw my dad like 4 or 5 times a month, like we were eating dishes that my mom's learned from his family, you know? So it's like I grew up knowing my Mexican culture because my mom taught us a lot about that, you know? And I think that people, like, that is like a real respect to any culture, is to not necessarily adopt the cultures if it's not your own, but to like be respectful enough, you know, to want for yourself and for your kids to know that side of them.
Yeah.
You know,
not pretend like that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, because I have a lot of friends who are mixed like me, but maybe the dad's not around or mom's not around, whoever's the Hispanic or the, you know, different culture. And it's like, that's why they say whitewash, because it's like, well, they didn't know because like that culture rejected them because of it. Even white, there's even kids that are mixed and their white family doesn't accept them, you know?
Yeah. I
didn't have that experience. My grandma and my white family was amazing. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I feel like I've even had friends that grew up, you know, mixed race, but was only like a black and white child, but raised by their white parent, and then never got to learn about their black heritage.
Yeah.
And so it messes with people because there's a whole side of them. They're walking out in the world as a black person for the most part, as a person
they wear it on their skin. Yeah.
And they you know, like, haven't been taught what comes with that. And that's tricky because those parents, the white parents that are there, or whatever ethnicity you are, it's like we have a responsibility for these kids to make sure that, to your point and what your mom did, that like they at least understand their history.
It's really hard. I think like it took me into being an adult, like realizing like not only am I mixed, but my two sides of my family, I mean, they couldn't beat my immediate, not my extended, but my immediate Mexican family and my immediate white family could not be more different. You know, like it's like night and day. So it's like I never felt uncomfortable in either, but I never felt completely myself in either.
Yeah.
I felt more accepted in some ways by my Mexican family. And I grew up, like my cousins especially, we were super close. And I felt in some way closer, you know, in a different way, closer to my other side of the family. But regardless, grew up really close to both. I think my brother and I both just kind of, you feel torn between two different worlds.
Yeah.
You know, so I think my love of traveling, my love of like eating different foods, which, you know, my Aunt Karen actually was really instrumental in exposing us as little kids to like, when I knew about pho, I knew about different like Indian foods and shit, because my Aunt Karen was actually really cultured in that. And I love that about her. So it was like cool because they exposed us to different cultures, you know, and then like one of my uncle, he comes from a pretty cultured family. So it was like, that was really cool. And I think just going in with the mindset of like, I want to learn about this family is always a positive. Just don't take the shit. You don't have to take the disrespect. You can be a adult and say, listen, I'm here to like, because I love your son or daughter, but there's going to be respect given to me too. Yeah. And you can choose not to go if that's not going to budge. Yep. That's the advice I would give. Don't take it, you know, or take a little bit and be like, okay, feel it out. If it's not working, keep it moving. If your significant other understands you're that uncomfortable and they're not going to have a conversation with their family, it's the same as a person flying from New York. Yeah. If you're not going to support me and support the situation I'm in, then you don't really love and care about me. Yep. Period.
100%.
Period.
So have a conversation, try and at least understand the culture, and then go from there.
Invest in that family. Yeah. And their traditions and stuff, you know? Okay. My grandma made a comment to me about being a robot because I didn't cry on command when she wanted me to. I prefer to express myself behind closed doors. I mean, your grandma doesn't understand that, like... You have your own boundaries. That's crazy talk.
I think this is a problem for a lot of people. I've had, unfortunately, a handful of people pass in my family recently in the last couple of years. And I think that there's this expectation that everyone's supposed to like
react
and grieve the same way. And I don't think that's fair to put on anybody, because some people need to be the strong person. Some people like do not, like this person doesn't, they just don't feel comfortable grieving out in front of everybody, and they do that privately. So I don't think this grandma's very nice.
No, and I think this like does go back to people being just so old and set in their ways.
Yeah.
And I do think like, you know, being younger, like losing a parent early, I remember seeing some people and being like, you are so theatrical. Like you are so doing this for the like drama. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, maybe not. Maybe in that moment they had never released or never actually thought it was going to come to death, you know, like with my dad.
Yeah.
And then being at the funeral and I'm like, you're so intense that like I feel like I don't even feel comfortable. Then there's people that's like somebody in their family could pass, and until they see somebody they feel safe with.
Yeah.
You know, like I had my own moments with my mom and my family that when I was with them in our own home and I was comfortable, that's when I'd really be upset and break down.
Yeah.
And like with my, you know, with my grandma, I was like, it was all fucking, all bets were off. And my grandma, I feel like I cried literally in an Uber to a stranger who so nicely sat with me like in the car in front of my house for 30 minutes with the thing off because I was a mess.
Aww.
Like why I let somebody talk me into having drinks 2 nights after my grandma died. And the bartender who owned the bar literally was like, Staci, I love you. You got to go home.
Yeah.
Like you should not be out. This is, you're sitting at the end of my bar, like sobbing your eyes out.
Yeah.
I was a fucking mess. You guys know you were there for all of it.
He's like, you're fucking up my tip situation today.
You're making everybody uncomfortable. So we're going to need you to leave.
Love you. Bye.
Yeah. So I think, like you said, I think everybody grieves differently, and
I just need to respect that.
yeah, I feel like grief and like emotion is a literal reaction your body's having.
Yeah.
Like I literally told Melissa the other day, like you're my safe space. So sometimes sorry for this because I feel like sometimes I emotionally dump on you, but sometimes I just need to like send you this text and you'll be like, don't worry, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, you're cool, you're right. I'm over it.
Yeah.
But like sometimes with your people, you just need to hear that, you know,
Yeah.
and then you move on.
Yep.
Like
So
I did.
So don't judge people's grieving.
Exactly.
Okay. I never hear that I am attractive for my partner. Bitch.
Right?
So should I be pissed when I notice comments like cutie under a random person's picture on social media? I would be uncomfortable, to say the least. And then I'd be like, you better start throwing them cuties my way.
I would be pissed off.
You sounded like, what's her name? Fortune Beamster. When you said pissed.
But you know what I mean? Like, first of all, you have the fucking audacity to get your little Twitter fingers out and type on some other bitch's picture. But you can't just tell the person. You're probably doing that shit laying right next to
you. You could have said that out loud to me right now.
Tell me I don't look cute when I wake up in the morning and roll over to you.
With my breath.
No, I'd be pissed. Whoever wrote this, you have every right. Be pissed, girl.
Yeah, I would. I don't know about pissed, but I would be feeling a certain kind of way for sure.
Hell yeah. I'd be questioning my fucking whole existence with that person. That extreme. Cutie?
It's all his like.
It's
best
a fucking
friends,
3-year-old daughter. I'm all this bitch.
Are you fucking kidding me? Well, because he has overalls on? That makes him cute?
Oh, because he dressed up like fucking Thomas the Train Engineer? Big deal. Okay, I went on a couple dates with a person and we really hit it off. Now, ghost. Girl,
keep it moving.
Yeah, that is life. Move on. That's my advice.
Same.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get hung up on it.
No. I hit it off at the grocery outlet, dude. Like, so I'm not interested in him, okay?
I just feel like things that are meant for us will stay and remain, and things that are not will find its way out of our lives.
And 90% of the time, for me at least, I've really built somebody up in my head that turns out to be a major disappointment.
Yep. And sometimes it's just the thing that you want in that moment, and so all you see is like all the things that you actually want, and it's not the reality of what's happening. And everybody around you is like, "Are we watching the same show here?" That does not
change the channel.
All right, I have a friend of a friend who repeatedly makes jokes at the expense of different cultures, genders, sexualities while I'm around. How do I handle this? Definitely have a conversation with that person.
Yeah, have a conversation with your friend. I mean, or directly address the person doing it.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's a really hard situation because there's so many different people could impact. Some people are very comfortable being a bystander to racism, homophobia, misogynist. Some people are okay with being a bystander to that if it doesn't like create a ripple in their security of their life.
Yeah. I think it's tough too, because that also, by saying nothing in those situations, so that friend, by saying nothing, is making them homophobic and racist, and you know what I mean, by association. Like you're 100%. Saying nothing, you're just accepting that, and that's why the state of the world is kind of how it is. And we saw it quite a bit with the Trump administration.
I was just gonna say that it's like politics. When did we start talking so heavy about politics all the time? I'm not against it. I'm not for it. If being a Democrat or Republican or whatever you identify as is important to you, great. Read the fucking room, dude.
Yeah.
Read the fucking room. You're wearing that hat to piss everybody in this fucking room off. To get a reaction like that fucking Oompa Loompa does. Okay? So it's like, dude, don't like, you're literally doing that to press people's buttons, knowing if you come to my home or I host an event and you know I am a openly queer, liberal, open-minded, do the best I can to be non-judgmental, and you're going to come into my home wearing this fucking propaganda that supports a man who, if he had his choice, I'd be a fucking handmaid, you'd be a handmaid, you'd be a handmaid, Casey'd be a handmaid, and you're doing that coming into my space, or even let's go a public space, and you think that like you're doing it for a reaction.
Yeah,
that's some type of weirdo shit in you that's like allowing hate speech to be okay, because you truly, at the end of the day, you believe that shit.
Yeah. And
anybody wants to argue that motherfucker cares because of money, then you value money more than me, and I don't need you in my life anyways.
Yep.
And that's what it is, you know?
There you go. Period.
But how I would handle this was I would have a direct conversation with my friend if that person is a good friend. Yeah. I mean, if it's like a work situation, exit the building. Yeah. You know, take yourself out. Not everything needs a confrontation.
Yep.
If it is a good friend, like tell them I'm uncomfortable when person XYZ is around. You know, how do you want me to handle it? If they ask you, just leave. It sounds like they're co-signing the behavior, and maybe that person feels the same way and is too much of a pussy to say it. Yep. And there's some people will stand behind big mouths because they won't say the shit that person is saying.
Yep. They're trying to stay in that middle area. Yeah, you want to stay, like, by saying nothing, you're already choosing like a side with that, you know?
Literally, I can't remember the exact quote, so I'm not going to like even say it, but it was basically something along the lines of like being neutral and being indifferent is like really the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. Because you're not actually picking like a side of good or bad. You were just being kind of like that weirdo in the middle that's just like co-signing what other people are saying, you know? Yep. It's weird.
But if you're not saying anything and it's tearing another human being down, you're part of that problem.
I don't know why people are so invested in strangers either.
I don't know.
Why are you so worried about what I do? It's like so odd to me.
I have no clue.
It's weirdo behavior. Like, get a hobby. Pickleball's popular. Like, try that.
It's way more fun.
Yeah. Okay. Is that me?
Yeah.
My partner never wants to spend time with me alone, always prefers being in a group setting. She never compliments me and pulls away when I touch her. Is it over? It is over, dog. That's your homegirl.
She's just hanging out with you.
You probably buy her nice shit, or she likes your company, but that is your homegirl.
Can she afford rent on her own? Because it sounds like maybe.
I mean, I know with like, we always like with especially lesbian relationships, lesbian deathbed is a real thing. I've experienced it, you know, it's a real thing. And I think the thing that's the beauty of dating another woman as a woman is that it truly is such a deep friendship. It's like having a best friend on crack, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're being the most friendship intimate you've probably ever been with somebody, but also the most sexually intimate with somebody. So that's the beauty of that. But at the same time, like, if there's never any type of like sexual and it's like truly feels like a friendship, like it's over, you know?
Yeah. I think that the fact that, I mean, even with our closest friends though, we like having that alone time with them. And so the fact that this person wants to just always be in groups is like, does this person even like the other person at this point?
Yeah, I don't think they even enjoy your company.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they don't like you.
Break up with this person, sir.
It is over. My boss constantly adds work to my plate without consulting me first. How do I let him know I can't handle much more?
How do you handle it? I'll tell you how I'll handle it.
I don't know that I do a great job with this because I have a yes. Yes.
Because you're doing the work of two people?
Yes. Yeah. The yes man mentality. so I'm probably not a good person to speak on this. But at the end of the day, we can only do what we can do. And the moment it starts impacting my health, mental health, overall like work-life balance, then you gotta like say something.
But I will say, as your best friend, it's not that maybe you're not doing it as well as you want to do it, but you are doing better.
Yeah.
The story you told, off camera before we started recording, I almost said filming again. Before we started recording, like that's already a situation you wouldn't have handled the same way last year.
Yeah.
So that's already growth.
I do think that just based off of like the moments that get extra heavy, then I'm like, okay, this is no longer feeling good. And so like I begin to then set certain boundaries. But to like confront my boss about putting too much on my plate, I don't know that I do it. I definitely don't do it in a direct manner, but it's worth the conversation of like, I can't take any more on at this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think like in the decade, when I think back to like me in my 20s, when I was like always working at least 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and then kind of into my 30s, and then I started, focusing more on my career. In my 20s, I was like that fucking annoying employee that was like, people ask for extra caramel at Starbucks, and I acted like I had stake in the company. And be like, what? That's $1.25. I was that person. Oh God, cringy as fuck. And then, but I wouldn't say no to shifts. If people were like, "Can you cover my shift?" I'd be like, "Yeah," because in my mind, I was like, "Let me get that money." Mm-hmm. In my 30s, because I was like new to teaching, even down to my sexuality. Like I started my last teaching job with my ex-girlfriend, but I didn't tell anybody about her because I was like, I want people to like judge me on what kind of teacher I am, not my sexuality. And I don't regret that decision, but looking back, I imagine that didn't make her feel good.
Yeah.
Because she was an important person to me at that time,
yeah.
And I do think like with work stuff, I would be like, I'll do this. And I was burnt out. Last year, I was super burnt out because I took on, I think I was making up committees by the end of the year. Just like being the president, I was fucking stupid.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, I was like burnt out where I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this. And I was proud because like I don't want to say opportunity because it wasn't, but a mentor opportunity came up and I'm like, well, what's the check? Like, well, you don't get a check. And I'm like, well, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, sorry for that. I
don't have time for you.
Sorry for that person. But like, I really took last summer. My goal last summer was obviously to travel as much as I did, but like, have the balls, which people will probably be surprised by this, but like have the balls to say no and be like, my time with my family and chosen family is more fulfilling and more important to me than like proving to everybody that I'm a good teacher.
Yeah.
All that matters is my students, my parents know I'm a good teacher.
Yeah.
I don't care if anybody else thinks that.
The results will.
I genuinely do not care what any other teacher on my campus is doing unless they need my help, then I'm always willing, Yeah. So I would just talk to my boss. I'm more of I have to like face to face see your body language, see your face, talk to you. I would encourage people to express yourself in whatever medium you want. If you feel better writing it out and you think some people are better like writing out how they're feeling and sending and being like, let's discuss when you're open. Some people text, some people call. I like in-person contact. It's just easier for me.
And it depends on your situation too. Like for me, my boss lives in Reno. We see him, once or twice a month. So I travel, and so there's not like a ton of face to face, and so it is, I think a different scenario. But at the end of the day, it's time is money, and you are working to make someone else money in a lot of cases, unless it's your own business. And so, making sure you're respecting your own time and your own health and all that good stuff.
Well, I think people will work for you to make that money.
Yeah.
Especially
if you're a yes person.
Yeah.
Haters.
For real though. Okay, me?
Yeah.
My boyfriend, every time. Me, you, bitch, follow along. My boyfriend expressed interest in allowing me to peg him once, and every time I bring it up, he changes the subject. Always fucking circle right back around to the booty stuff.
This is for you. I don't know. I've never had a boyfriend express interest in allowing me to peg them.
I think that if
I'd be like, bro, did you want it or not? You brought it up.
I would literally have that conversation like, hey, you expressed that you wanted this. Obviously it matters if they're sober or drunk, because some drunk people will say stuff and really actually want that and then sober up and be like, I don't want that anywhere near me, But I think just, again, communication, honest communication, like, hey, you expressed you wanted this. Are you into it? No. Okay.
Yeah, I would make sure that we're like setting up a safe space to have the conversation, because it could also be
Light
something
some
where
and shit.
Yeah.
Higher love candles.
Yeah. chocolates, roses. I think making sure that he feels safe in the space, because he may actually be interested, but then feels judged because not all men talk about it. I think there are a lot of men that like things, fingers, dildos.
It's like weird to me. Not weird. I need to stop saying weird, but it's whatever to me sometimes that people judge straight men that enjoy butt play because your prostate's in your anal cavity. Like that is, I think for me, I've been exposed to it when I was young, because in my 20s I had these two guy friends who were like just amazing, awesome people. They moved away, or you probably would know them, but they always would make jokes about like, we love when girls stick fingers in our ass. And I'm like, why? Like they like educated me. In my 20s I was kind of like, I was in a relationship, so I was like, this is what I know, you know, and he wasn't into that. So like they were telling me, I'd be like fascinated, like, wow, like I literally didn't know shit about male anatomy. Why would I? Yeah. You know?
I just think about how gross boys are.
Oh, they're nasty. Yeah.
I don't really want my finger up there, but I think that you need to create a safe space for your partner if they've expressed interest, and make sure that it's not something that he feels is something that a man shouldn't enjoy. Because there's far more men that enjoy it that don't talk about it.
Also, I'm wondering if maybe the reason he's like cut it off because he felt safe and vulnerable in that moment to talk to you about it, but maybe like communication wise, is he like afraid you're going to tell your friends? Has there been an incident before where like you've told your friends about your sex life or something like that? Some people really are like, don't want that to be discussed amongst your friend group. We are all very open sexually, right? Like you guys know.
Don't worry, you wouldn't end up on the podcast. Okay, maybe.
I'll talk about me, but yeah, no, like I think, you know, maybe that's one of the issues too. So Who knows? Talk about it.
All right. My friend told me she doesn't bring me to social events with her because I don't ever dress up or wear a lot of makeup. Fuck that friend.
Ditch that bitch.
Are you joking?
Ditch that bitch.
I don't think it should matter unless it's like a required dress code. I don't think it should matter what your friend decides to go out in. That's them going out.
There was this like influencer thing I saw online like a while ago about this girl who said when she like people were like talking shit because she put like going to the club or got a table tonight, and like this is basically what you have to look like in order to be like to go as my friend to go with me. Yeah. And it was like this is just like,
who does this? First of all,
like that, I was like, are we living in the fucking metaverse? Like what? Like this is bonkers. So it's like, yeah. So she basically put that, and then obviously got a lot of pushback from people about it. And people were like, this is crazy. Like you're not a real friend. You just want to be surrounded by like people that look a certain way. And she's like, it's just my brand. Like when I'm, you know, out, I want certain people to be like photographed with me. And it's like,
you can't.
Girl, you got 2,000 followers on Instagram. What are you talking about?
Dude, my friends would have ditched me a long time ago. Today's the first day I put eyeliner on, and I don't even know how fucking many years.
Never ditch you.
I'll never ditch you.
Yeah, ditch that bitch. That's my advice. That's not your friend.
No.
Yeah.
They're looking for something that's absolutely superficial. So, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we're done with like the I guess advice questions that were submitted.
Our opinions, okay.
Our opinions. I would take that with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. If you just
hopefully it was helpful, but in no pressure to take it.
We're just 100% right 100% of the time. And then Staci and I created 10 additional questions for each other that we have not seen, and we're gonna ask each other now, and I'm very scared.
The way you're laughing,
I'm
nervous.
Afraid of what's on your paper.
Oh, you shouldn't be. Mine's so PG.
Mine's PG too.
Yeah, mine's
I don't
so
even
PG.
think I have a cuss word in mine.
I mean, I probably do, but
all right, you can go first.
Okay. What's the best present you've ever received, and why was it so special?
That's almost identical to my first question.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just go for that.
The best present I've ever received. Mine was more specific. It just said, what's the best Oh, no. That's not a gift. Okay, carry on. Best present I've ever received. Like a physical gift?
No, it doesn't have to be physical. Just something you would...
Just kidding.
Something
just kidding.
I only have one, guys, I swear. My bad. Something like you would consider a gift. Are we just rolling with this? Or
yeah, we're gonna just an accident here. Don't worry.
Guys, I peed my pants for everybody who's not watching this. Damn, Casey was on that, though. Oh, shit, my bad. I thought I killed the rest of that.
We're just cleaning up. Nothing to see here.
Okay, so what is the
best gift? What are you holding? It's a drink. Best present I've ever received. I'm gonna go with physical gift. My girlfriend's on the back. She thinks
literally
it's
dancing?
a physical gift I just recently received.
Oh, I know this one.
Was a very large wax warmer thingy
For her vagina wax.
for my vagina, for my candles, for my candle companies, to make it much easier to make large batches of candles.
Dude, you were so touched by that.
I know, because I've talked about it, because it's kind of a big purchase, and it's also like something that I've been wanting, but I've never like splurged enough for myself on it. And
and can I tell you my take on it? The reason why I was like so touched by it, even though it wasn't my gift, is because Casey's literally watching you like struggle, right? Like balancing your life, your business, and thoughtfully like heard you say it and thoughtfully bought you something that's going to make your life easier. Yeah. And that is so fucking meaningful.
Close your ears wherever she's at.
Get out of here. Go in the other room.
No, that was super, super sweet.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay.
So mine was, what's the best birthday party you've ever had?
Oh my God. Okay, honestly, my 40th was I can't pick one. I have two. My 40th, because it was so thoughtful. You guys all did so much, and it was like all my best people together. It was everything I wanted. My other one would be, I want to say it was my 10th, maybe 9th birthday. You know, I've been pretty open about like we didn't have a ton of money growing up. And my mom threw me a Halloween party for my birthday. Like I love Halloween. And she went, I literally just told the story of Jacqueline's birthday. Oh. She went all out and did like, I'll never forget, like the attention to detail. I had to be in like 5th or 6th grade. So let's say 6th grade. My whole 6th grade class was there. Oh, and this is Lodi. So this is like people I'd literally gone to school since kindergarten.
Yeah.
So like families knew each other. We lived in like a duplex on Swain Drive. They did, her and my stepdad like made the whole side house like a haunted house. We did bobbing for apples. She did the whole like Oreo cookies with the worms in it. You know what I mean?
The little dirt.
Every single piece of food was themed. She did it like I don't know if it was egg rolls or what it was, with like look like fingers.
And that's back in the day shit. Like now
this
it's
is
like,
also like not like having a ton of money.
I mean, like now like people throw parties like that, but like back in like 10, 15, 20 years ago, that shit did not exist.
She made like a spider web out of like the black licorice, like the strings,
she
you know?
Like peeled them all.
Yes. It made like a huge spider web with like little spiders on it. Like she went all out, and it was, I mean, I'm still talking about it. It was so meaningful.
Yeah.
That type of stuff is so thoughtful. Like when I opened the gift bags and you put my face, that picture on the candles, like, oh my God. And the fact that like everybody went all out to get dressed up for my like dumb themes. You know,
those were fun though,
dude. And everybody just
had a good
killed
time.
it. Like Jeannie looked like a straight up Guidette. Like you and Joey killed Nacho Libre. Like everybody just looked so good and like entertained what I wanted. So it was perfect. It was perfect.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay, so what's your survival plan during a zombie apocalypse?
Snacks. I'm hoping I'm with somebody that like would be willing to fight a zombie if it came near us. So I'm pretty certain Casey would be.
Casey would throw them hands. I already know.
She would have a gun and a bat and everything. I don't know. I just board up all my freaking windows and make sure I had enough non-perishable items and just enjoy life without having to go to work. I'm gonna take advantage of this zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I was like, she's gonna still accept calls from the fucking doctors.
I'm like, bro, I can't answer you right now. It's a zombie apocalypse.
He probably would.
Don't
though.
Ghost me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
What phone app do you use the most?
Oh, TikTok, duh.
TikTok?
Dude, TikTok's everything. I literally go to TikTok for like anything I need. If I'm like, what should I eat for dinner? Recipes.
TikTok.
You know what I mean? Like, what did we just talk about, Jean? What are we just like talking about? Like our trip, like wanting to go to Thailand. I was like, when I got home from us having breakfast, I was like looking up different like strategies for Thailand and stuff that I'm like, I want to really investigate before I just like fly here. Anything I'm looking at, you know?
It's on TikTok.
It's, dude, everything.
It might have one of 3 songs playing with it, but it'll be on TikTok.
Exactly. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in a new house.
Mm-hmm.
I see myself with my nonprofit, at least the beginnings of my nonprofit I want to start. I don't know. Maybe another doggy.
Maybe a beach house.
maybe a beach house, but probably another doggy, another house with, we'll rent this one out and just invest in some property, and then
you have a goose, now you're gonna get a duck?
Yep. I have a goose, I get a duck.
That would be so freaking cute.
It's gonna be named Tofu.
Oh, I love that. No, yeah, but Lucy's goosey, so what were we gonna call Tofu? Gofu? Hey, go Tofu. Hey, go Fu.
Go Fu.
All right.
What was your first impression of me?
Fuck, dude. I don't even know if I can remember that far back.
Do you remember where we were at?
Let me think. Where were we?
It was one of the Lodi bars.
Oh, was it vintage? Gary. I like how you went like this to whisper and then you yelled it.
Oh. She said, Gary's.
What was the reason why we were even all out?
I think it was just that Heather.
Was it Heather's birthday or something?
And Chanel.
She just invited us.
I think we were just going
Were we
out.
sitting at one of those tables? Yeah. I don't remember
that.
Oh, so you're saying I wasn't memorable? Check.
No.
Carry on.
No, I don't remember that. I mean, obviously you made an impression. We went to fucking Coachella
like 2 months
like
later.
2 months later together without the person who introduced us. So you made an impression. Damn, that's a really good question, but I honestly don't even remember that night. Was it hammered?
I don't know. I remember my first impression of you. I thought you were just like, you were kind and funny, and like I just want to like spend more time with you.
What's your impression of me now? You okay? You okay?
You're funny.
You're cool. You're a fucking pain in my ass.
No.
Okay, what is something you regret?
What do I regret?
That's fucking heavy.
I know. Cause I feel like we all try and not regret too many.
Yeah,
like
I
our
try
group,
not to.
our circle of friends. I don't know.
Okay, well, what is something like you would do differently? You would handle differently?
Something I'm trying to handle differently is something we were just talking about, which is not letting like your job, right, overwhelm you and impact your own health and wellness. And I think that is kind of a regret for me, because I think I let it get to a point where it's like feels too heavy, and I don't like it to feel too heavy. So I think just not letting, being able to set those boundaries and being able to speak up when it's like too much. You can't, know, because now it's like to a point where I'm not eating breakfast or like working out. And those are important things to like keep you healthy.
Basic needs.
Those are things to keep you healthy and sane so you can do a good job. And so by me thinking I'm like working hard and doing all this stuff, it's like, no, I'm then making myself sick essentially. And so that's not going to make me a better employee.
Yeah, or person.
Yeah. And then not being able to like really focus as much attention as I want on the things that I love. Like my higher love is something that I've been investing in for 7+ years.
Yeah.
And it's always like was intended to really be like my little side thing, but it's a passion project for me. I get to like have this umbrella of higher love and do all these like things under it. And this whole year, I haven't been able to like really invest a lot into that. And then just my own health. It's just trying to make those changes now.
2023, baby.
There you go. Have you ever tried to look cool in front of someone and then failed?
Oh yeah, dude. When I was in 7th grade, I tried to look cool in front of this dude I really liked, Paul Cram. Fucking fell on my face.
Oh wait, did you say you were wearing too big of shoes or something? Okay.
Hand-me-downs too big. Stupid. I literally laughed it off and then ran to the bathroom and cried my fucking sob, dude. Cried my eyes out.
Aww.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's a lot of where my my old boss actually one time, this wasn't the exact situation, but we were basically doing a training where like it's called ProAct. It's like a how to evade if you actually have to restrained training. And this one of it is like your partner comes at you and you have to like do the move. But it was my friend Travis, who's like fucking hella tall, and he's like making faces at me like a bear, and I'm laughing, and she's like, "Do you use humor as like a defense mechanism?" I'm like, do you see what's happening? This is hilarious. Yeah, this fucking clown's making me laugh. But she did make me think, where I'm like, I feel like from that time it was like, oh, I'm fine. I just fell flat on my fucking face, probably broke my nose. But it's hilarious. Can I excuse myself to the restroom? And I like cried. So yeah, that was fucking embarrassing.
Sometimes I'll just start laughing when I'm uncomfortable, and I'm like, I can't stop. I don't know how. It's like nothing's funny here. It's just I don't know how to respond, and my body's like,
Then it makes it more awkward. I feel like my sister does that. Okay, mine is I actually have a question very similar to that one, but what's your dream celebration? Like, it could be a wedding, birthday, fucking bar mitzvah, whatever you want. But, like, what would be, like, the dream celebration?
Like, what we're doing?
Yeah, like, how would you do it?
On a beach. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just see, like, a party on a beach with all the people I love, with, like, bonfires and, like, just twinkly lights and all the good drinks and food that we,
Yeah, that sounds like Mexico.
I'm like, it could be a taco truck, just fucking screwed it up.
Mexico, dude.
we could do that next month if you want.
I'm like, listen, we can make this happen. Thailand.
There you go.
Okay, love that.
What's the smelliest place you've ever been?
Oh my god, dude. I feel like
my ex-boyfriend's butt.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes Midtown.
Yeah, it depends on where you're.
Like, really, like, there's some parts where, like, sewers just, like, leaking, and I'm like, dude, this is so stinky.
Yeah.
I think, like, any metropolitan city, like Paris, there's certain areas that it's, like, extra stinky, like sewery. When I went to Chicago, like, certain areas are stinky, you know? So, like, I think, big metropolitan city where there's a lot more garbage and there's a lot more people tends to be stinkier. Yeah, crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, damn, these motherfuckers stink. Okay, so mine is, what is your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, my most embarrassing moment? I mean, the one that always sticks out to me, and I think I've already told it on this before, was when I had, like, a full-blown panic attack in, like, I don't know, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, because someone accidentally poked me with a pencil. And I thought that I had lead poisoning. And so I stood up. I'm like, I gotta go. Whatever the hell I said. And they sent me to the office to, like, I don't know. They were probably like, something's fucking not right with this girl. No,
there's still a secretary to this day that wonders how you turned out.
I don't know, man. I'm all right.
Dude, no shit though. I feel like in the 80s they really, like, for some reason press like lead poisoning.
I know,
because I had somebody, like, I feel like I had my pencil like this when I was in, like, 6th grade, and and the lead was inside me. And same, I remember freaking the fuck. I feel like I have a mole in my stomach still because of it. I'm dead serious.
It's probably just the lead still in you.
No, the lead's probably still in me. I'm, like, slowly dying. I, like, die when I'm 45.
She died from lead poisoning. Yeah. She was 12 years old when it happened.
They told us in the 80s. They warned us.
Yeah, I don't know why we were so afraid of that. Again,
yeah.
I
would research that. Is that had to be a thing? Because why would we have the same, like, fear?
Yeah,
of a fucking number 2 pencil.
I don't know, man.
That we used every damn day.
I have no clue, but that was probably, between that and peeing on the bus was. I don't know why the lead poisoning thing
is scarier than peeing on the bus.
Because I don't know that. I mean, people knew I did it, but, like, in the classroom, everyone saw me get up in a panic. I got to walk off, and, like, I'm sure people knew I peed myself, but I was also smaller, and so I think that I was just like, I need to get home. And, like, I don't think I noticed that people knew I peed on the bus, but everyone in the classroom knew.
Definitely.
That.
So it's like it was a guarantee that everybody saw you.
Everybody knew I was, like, dying of lead poisoning in that moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had any other embarrassing moment. I'm sure I did. Like, I don't know. I can't think of them. Anyway, okay, next question.
Is there a food your family always makes when you're together?
Yeah. So my mom makes pozole a lot. That's like, I
think your mom's pozole is so good.
Dude, it's so good. And
I don't eat meat, and I love your mom's pozole.
Dude, I feel like everybody, like, all 5 of us, that's, like, what we all agree on when she's like, I'll make that. We're like, yes, good, perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably that.
Awesome.
My mom makes a lot of good shit. I always say my mom, like, cooked meals with, like, 5 ingredients, and it was, like, bomb. She's such a good cook.
Yeah.
Such a fucking good cook. Okay. What is your favorite form of self-care?
Self-care.
Meals.
It's not. I enjoy a good meal starting 2 months ago.
Dude, Casey's the mule master.
I know. I didn't realize they were so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just, like, listening to an audiobook or something, like, where I don't have to, like, be super present in it. You know, I love an old school book, but I think just, like, being able to sit somewhere and listen to it is good.
Yeah, because you're, like, physically not doing anything. You're just chilling and listening.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's something that scares you but not a common fear? So, like, balloons or something.
Oh my god. Dude, fucking rattlesnakes.
That's a common fear, though.
Is it though? Because I feel like I'm obsessed with it. Like, how many times have we been in a car?
I think we need to go to like a group because I am not a fan of rattlesnakes, and I think that they live everywhere and are going to be present at all times of seasons. It doesn't matter if there's grass, there's a rattlesnake.
My brother's like, stop asking when we're driving through places if you think there's rattlesnakes there. Like, why do you always ask that? I'm like, I think I have like a core memory unlocked. I remember this. We would camp at Comanche a lot, and my dad was not the one to be like, yeah, we'd like be in the site because we had to. But we wouldn't stay there. My dad's like, let's go on this fucking hike. You're 7 and you have fucking flip-flops on, but I'm going to take you up this mountain. He was that dad.
Yeah.
So, and he wouldn't care if I had to hold his shirt while he pulled me up a steep mountain. He'd be like, let's go. I remember him taking me and my cousins to this watering hole that was sick. I mean, outcome, I didn't die or get bit by a rattlesnake or drown. So it was tight. But I remember passing these caves and hearing, as a kid, like there was it was a blocked road. And he pulled each of us over this tall barrier to go back there. It was clearly a very like, don't come back here.
There's a reason. There's snake
Danger
signs everywhere.
Ahead. People are going to die. And we went anyway. And so I think like, that's why I'm so terrified that like, same. I feel like I'm going to get in like my bed and there's going to be a rattlesnake and they're fucking waiting for me. Maybe it is more common, but like, it's totally irrational.
It is. I think it's because for me, I don't know enough about snakes. And so by not knowing enough about it, it scares the bejeebers out of me.
They're so terrifying looking. I think like low key, my like religious training from a kid too is like snakes are evil and the devil, the form of the snake is like a devil, that it's like, they're just terrifying to me.
Yeah.
They represent all evil. But anything else? No, I know people that are like scared of glitter. I know people that are scared of like touching cotton.
Yeah.
I know like clowns.
I was thinking of like balloon came to mind when I was like writing that question. Then I was like, I know you're not afraid of balloons, but I was like, oh, I wonder if there's some other thing you're scared of. But like people, my sister does not like balloons by any means. Like she's freaked out by them.
Some people, to be honest, I don't feel like that's actually that uncommon. It's not the balloon that I know people are scared of. It's the popping. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no. Rattlesnakes. That's my number one fucking fear, dude. How do you regulate yourself when you're sad or pissed?
I take time for myself. So like I'll have to step away and like not have other people in my business. Mm-hmm. Like if people are still like at me, talking at me, I'm like, okay, I can't fucking regulate with you here. Yeah. I'm just going to get more like increasingly worked up. So I think just stepping away and then trying to evaluate the facts of the situation instead of whatever like story I've made up in my head about what's going on. Because usually when we're like pissed about something, it's like pieces of it that we've added to it. Sometimes it's like legit stuff you should be pissed at, but a lot of times it's like our added perceptions and conditionings that like make us more pissed about something or upset or sad. Yeah. And so I think just like really, okay, let me like just really evaluate what the hell is truth and what is just
You're
the
really
narrative.
good about that, I feel like.
I mean, I could be better, but
I feel like I just fester and then I'm like fucking, I got a fucking telenovela already in my head. Anyway.
What do you see in yourself that you dislike when you see it in other people?
Fuck, I feel like I have a couple of those. I don't love, and I'm actively trying to work on this, how I can go from fucking 0 to 100 when I'm upset. I think I'm better about being an emotional reactor. I think I'm 1,000 times better. But I don't love that. And I don't really I catch myself sometimes getting like obsessive about stuff in a sense of like, if I don't get the like what I need from something, like a answer that I want, I'll like replay the scenario over and over and over. Yeah. So those things I definitely like actively work on. I have to actively work on.
And it's like annoying when you see that in somebody else.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, no. I think things annoy me about people. I don't necessarily see it in myself. The things that annoy me in people is when, I don't know if this is because I teach specifically autism population, but when like typical people don't catch cues. Mm-hmm. Because then I'm like, I'm so direct that I'm like, bro, it's time to go home. Like,
you gotta go.
You don't see my body language. I'm asleep on the couch. You gotta go home eventually. But yeah, I think those things I don't notice so much in other people. But if I did, they would 100% annoy me. For sure. Who was the last person that made you cry, and who the fuck do I need to beat up?
Actually, the other day, Casey and I were both bawling. What were we watching?
That's not a person. That's a show.
I know, but that was the last thing that made me cry. I don't think a person made me cry.
That's good. That's all I need. I was literally trying to get names.
Oh. Who do you need to beat up? Robin Williams. Why did I say him? He's
I actually just
came to my head.
just saw a little thing that said before Robin Williams made Mrs. Doubtfire, he went to a bookstore in full like Mrs. Doubtfire costume to see if it was believable. I was like, dude, I just love. He was like walking around the streets of the Bay Area like as Mrs. Doubtfire.
He's so sweet.
Such a tragedy. Anyway, that's gonna make me cry if we keep talking about it.
Yeah, I can't remember the last like person that made me cry. I usually cry at like random shit.
I know the last person that made me cry, but I'm not saying their name on here.
Don't even deserve any.
Exactly.
Okay, what do you see in yourself that you admire when you see it in other people?
God, I feel conceited, but there's like so many things.
I mean, it's not as conceited because on the other one, the dislike one, you also said there were a lot of things.
I feel like a lot of the things in myself that I actually really love about myself, I see in every single person in our friend group. Like, I think in you're like a boss type of person. You handle shit. You're the first one to like figure it out, make an educated decision, and like keep it and stand on that shit. And Jeannie, she's super outgoing. I think that's what we always have in common, right? Like we're outgoing. We'll talk to anybody. We're social. We're fun. Like, I love those things about myself. With Casey, I like same as you guys. You guys are so similar in that sense, but also like when I'm talking to her about like shit in my family or in my life, I could see the compassion in her, and she's like an active listener. Yeah. Joey, I mean, goddamn, I could say fucking Joey and Chanel. It's like obviously like 1,000 things. Not just because, but Joey especially is the longest person that's been in my life. I've always told the story about when my dad passed. It wasn't really until I saw Joey that it really like hit me, because just seeing his emotion, I think that like he's my emotional backbone, and I just like watching him and Chanel's friendship. And I think not that I see that in me, but that's what I aspire when I see like couples have that friendship. Yeah. You know? And then like obviously I think with Chris, like same as Jeannie and I, Chris is just so fucking funny and
goes
fun.
With the flow with
he
everything.
Literally brings like the vibe. He just brings the energy, and it's just always positive. So it's like there's a lot of I think that I have, maybe this is like a trick, but I have surrounded myself with people that have a quality in them that I admire in myself. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I don't just know if I like love myself or what, but
I think with Bridget too, it's like your passion for travel and stuff.
Sorry, Bridget, did not forget. Yeah. Oh, that is one. We were literally just talking about Bridget today and saying that. Yeah. Like Bridget, she's like your best travel best is when we travel, because we get along. And the thing I love about her is how much Bridget is like a curious person. Yeah. Even in times when I'm like watching her like fucking interview people, you know, then my life is like she actively is making an effort to get to know people in my life that she knows are important to me. If she's like in my home and there's somebody I'm introducing her to, she's asking them questions to get to know them and her love of travel, of course, because she's a curious person. Yep. Travel is dominated by that, you know? So yeah, I love that about her too. Sorry, I did not mean to forget Bridget. I just already told a story about her today, so she's tapped out. Okay, when and why did you become vegetarian?
I feel like I've been a vegetarian my entire life.
Oh yeah, your mom did say that.
Because I've just never like really liked the texture of meat. I've never really liked anything to do with meat. And then I think the compassionate piece of it, as I got older and understood like, oh, that is like legit animals we're like slaughtering to feed ourselves. And I know that that's part of the food chain we've created, I guess. I'm
like slamming salami at your house.
I mean, to be fair, I bought the salami for you.
Yeah, so. You're not like a dick about being a vegetarian, which I appreciate.
So it's just like I will actively feel sick. Like I don't know. I mean, as long as I can remember, I've preferred non-meat foods. Yeah. Vegetarian foods.
Love that.
Is this our last one?
Yeah, that was my last question.
Where would you like to see me in 5 years? And where would you like to see you in 5 years? I kind of squeezed two into one there.
Okay, so you in 5 years, I actually immediately thought beach house. That's why I said that. Because I feel like you and Casey have expressed so much about how you want like a beach house. And I know, I don't think it's a coincidence that like, when we book, people are like, man, 5 days, like you guys book these cabins. I'm like, no, Melissa and I are there when they let us check in, if not early, to the second we have to leave, because like we really treasure those times, not just being with each other, but being like places we love. Yeah. You know, like as we get older, we could actually afford to go to the beach now. We need to do that. So I see you doing that. you know, I kind of see you where you're at, but in a different job and just continuing to grow. Like, that's what I think the like glue of our relationship is, even though we're so fucking different. Like, we both want to grow as people. Yeah. That's like such a priority to both of us. And I think for me in 5 years, I think same, owning some type of vacation house. I don't really know, like partnered, maybe, yes, I don't know. And then I just see myself continuing to like grow emotionally, because I still feel like I have a lot of work to do. And just being the best, mostly auntie that I can be and friend that I could be. And yeah, just continue to live, travel. Like, I'm super excited for our summer because I've done so much like Europe trips. I'm excited and a little bit scared to go do like a totally different place. Yeah. So yeah, just continue to travel.
Yeah. I'm gonna add to this, because I see you in 5 years. I absolutely see you owning a piece of property, whether you live in it or not. I think you will definitely own a piece of property, and I do think you will be in a relationship with somebody that matches your energy, and
that's gonna be hard.
All right. is exactly what you need and want.
Yeah.
I think that you're due for that kind of love, and yeah.
I think when I talk about relationships, like, I don't know if you told Casey about that picture you sent me, like, I want you to have this, blah, blah, blah. It was, like, really cute, remember? No. You, like, sent me a picture of Casey cooking or something.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't even know. And you said, like, I want you to have this. And it did make me think, and, like, we've openly talked about with my last situation, it definitely made me open my heart more, where I love love. Yeah. It's not that I don't want to ever be in a relationship and I am totally fine being single, and I'm good being in a relationship, but I'm not going to settle for no bullshit.
Yep. And nobody should.
No.
You heard it here.
Not settling for no bullshit. So if I'm single for 10 more years and meet the perfect person, that's how my life is supposed to go.
Yep. Exactly. Cool. Well, that's all of our things.
Trying to high five me?
HolliGay special. I thought we were bros. And just to plug, since this is the holiday special and it'll be releasing before my little care package delivery. We're making care packages for the unhoused friends here in Sacramento, so Midtown and downtown. And so if you feel called to contribute or help us pass things out, or you have anything that you can donate, just go ahead and message us on Instagram. And yeah. Any help will be appreciated.
Yeah, remember to be grateful for the things that we have. Yeah, and to pass those blessings.
Yep, because there's a lot of people that don't even have some of the basic needs to survive. So.
Yep, agreed.
Cool.
Thanks.
Love you, man.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
Yes, life is a beautiful mess. A beautiful mess.